So I thought it might be interesting for me to do a little commentary on a round of Taaank that I played. Taaank being the mutation in verses in which there are no special infected. There's only tanks, so you spawn. In is the tank after about 15 seconds when the survivors leave the safe room. I jumped into this random game here right at the beginning as the survivors, just a quick match. And I initially was not particularly... I did not have high hopes for this game because the connection seemed to be pretty bad at the beginning. Nobody had microphones, and it seems like they had sort of at the beginning run off without me. So anyway, the goal in Taaank is basically just to run as quickly as you can, get to the end as quickly as you can, and hopefully the tanks don't cut you off. That's really the key as playing the infected in this, is to find a choke point. And usually the spawns are extremely buggy and definitely not fair or consistent from round to round, so you don't know where the tanks are going to come from, which adds, it adds an element of surprise for sure, but ultimately it can be a little frightening. So anyway, we've all managed to go to the safe room. I haven't even seen a tank yet, and miracle of miracles, we managed to get this guy Krabby in here for the end of it. So that's a really good start. It's always a good start to have a perfect score on the first chapter, and then we ourselves are about to go on as tanks. Okay, so as I said before, as soon as the sort of little out of the safe room boundary is breached by the survivors, you get about 15 seconds or so when you spawn, and you can sometimes spawn as the tanks ahead of them or behind them, and depending on the map it can be really difficult to catch up to them if you're behind them, because of course the survivor, if they're not being hit with infected especially, can really outrun a tank very easily. Now Rochelle here has made the mistake of going out before everyone is really ready, and so that slows everybody down because they have to wait for the guy in the back. That triggers the spawn, and here we go. Now we're both in. A little laggy again, as I've seen. I decide immediately, instead of going for the guys at the back, to climb over the house and cut them off, which is really what they should have done. So my plan here is to wait for the first person to come through, chuck a rock at them, and then see if I can jump down and cut them off. I think I missed this one. Oh no, I got him. And ultimately, he's not going to be able to go anywhere because he can't get to the door. Now, I don't realize this is one of the dumpsters that in fact can't be hit, but it ultimately doesn't end up mattering. He's the last guy to go. Everybody else has been taken down, and that's really the most important thing about playing Taaank, is to have that choke point taken care of, so the survivors literally cannot get past you. And while you're slowing them down, the people who are the tanks behind you who are sort of taking out the stragglers can often either mop it up or take your place if you happen to get mowed down. It takes an awful lot of firepower to kill 4 tanks, particularly if they're not on fire. So here we go as the survivors. We're about to make our run for it. We kill a couple of the infected and then make our way out. We're all ready to go. I don't have a particularly good start to this. I can't believe I didn't hit that guy with the pan. It's totally bizarre. Anyway, off we go. I take the right side. Often it's good to split up here. Remember, there are no special infected, so the nice thing is you can't get immediately... While the tanks are obviously very powerful, they're not going to down you immediately or incapacitate you, or you're not going to get stuck by a smoker or a hunter or anything like that. So if you split up, it's not the end of the world. In something like this where there are multiple routes, it's actually better. So here we go. The tanks at this point have not gotten ahead of us. So I have a fairly easy path to this next bit in the level. Now, one thing to note about running this particular level during a Taaank mutation is that the tank can actually get into the van through the roof, the sunroof there. And so it's really not beneficial for you to just get in there and hide, because again, you can't go through until everybody is ready to go. And if they're down, you have to wait till they bleed out or are picked up to be able to to be able to start the second half and go through the crescendo. So usually in a tank mutation, things end there. That being said, I think we do a pretty admirable job here. Everybody's caught up. These two guys unfortunately make the mistake of hanging out in the van, and the tanks are smart enough that they realize that you can't do that. The tanks will get you, so we're basically just trying to battle out the tanks here. Again, doing an admirable job, I think. There's one dead tank. I know I'm not going to have enough time to pick them up. Now, actually, I think the funny thing about it sometimes is that you get hit from what seems to be like a mile away. The difference in connections can make a serious difference with regards to visually where the tank is and visually where the tank can hit you. Like quite a bit in Left 4 Dead, it can be very much dependent on luck and your connection. So I actually do think, yeah, I have enough time to pick them up here. But we have some fresh tanks here who are not on fire. And ultimately it doesn't bode well. Like usually when you're stuck in a situation like this, it means game over. I'm actually stuck in the map here. And for whatever reason this tank has left me to be incapped, but I'm not. You'll see I warp out here. Oop, there I am. Very strange. I don't know why this particular tank chose to leave me alone. But anyway, I'm obviously too slow to be able to do anything. And you actually can get through here. I don't know why I didn't jump over. Why I decided to go the long way. But this tank threw it too low. Ultimately, it's the end, though. Oh, wait a minute. I guess I was able to take him down. But yeah, there's just no way to be able to deal with that many. And as much as I sort of shuck and jive here, all the jumping you can do with the tank, for whatever reason, it seems like the actual hitbox, the swing of the arm of the tank, is something that hits very low. So if you jump, you have a better chance of avoiding the swing of the tank. Also, not to mention that if they do hit you, because you're in the air, you will often be propelled back further, giving you some time to be able to backpedal once you recover from being hit by the tank. And it means that you don't just get hit 4 times in a row, 4 or 5 times in a row. So now it's our infected turn, and we're definitely hoping to do better, to see if we can stop them before we get to the before they get to that van. It's pretty difficult to do. Actually, the best you can hope for is really to down or kill one of them before they get to the van, and then hold them up there. So, for whatever reason, yeah, they don't go immediately for the path. Some of them get hung up on these infected. There's an awful lot of them here. And then we spawn. Now, when something like this happens, it can be very frustrating again, because here's somebody who's, you know, he can outrun me. He's got open ground, very few infected. And so, I make a long bomb here. And I actually got him. But even then, it's not enough to slow him down enough to be able to prevent him from getting to the van. So here I'm trying to play sort of traffic control. I try and stop anybody from getting any further here. And this is the ultimate choke point. They can't get through this. They have to go through here in order to go further. So you can actually do quite a bit of damage if they're not expecting you here. So letting 1 or 2 get through is not a big deal. You can see how much damage you can do here. Like basically, if they're really dead set on getting through at that point, it's pretty much game over for them unless they back up and draw you out as a tank. So that's one of the best things you can do in this particular instance. Yeah, even the door is shut. You can get in there as a tank through the roof.